As I'm sure you're all aware by now, caves are pretty much everywhere in Minecraft. If we just pop down to the bottom here, this looks like a fairly bog standard cave. We've got a rather large entrance on the way in, and then it abruptly ends at the bottom right here. Now what I thought we could do is I thought we could take this cave that you can see in front of you, and I thought we could transform it with redstone. Fill it up with a ton of redstone contraptions, loads of really fancy bits and pieces, and basically make this place look really very cool. So obviously, to kick all of this stuff into action, we're going to need some form of hidden activation device. The point of this place is that it's meant to be totally secretive. Wouldn't be particularly secretive if we had a lever on one of the walls. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that if you break one of the blocks in this chain of blocks right here, then that will activate the entire cave system. And the way that we're going to do that is by placing a stone generator underneath here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to line ourselves up with this line of blocks. And we're going to place in a piston facing upwards and then a piston facing across in this area right here. Now this is where our lava is going to be going and our water is going to be coming in from this direction. Now if you haven't built a stone generator before, this is all going to look very new to you, but I'm just quickly going to chuck in all of the borders going around like this. There's the border for the lava, there is the border for the water, and then we need a couple more blocks going across like this. And a couple blocks are going across like that. So we're going to chuck in the water, and that should flow out and across like that. And then when we place in the lava, that should drop down and create a stone block right there. The redstone for this one is going to be pretty simple. We're going to have a little hopper clock in this corner right here. And then we're going to take a comparator output from this hopper. That's going to go out into a block with redstone and then a block right there, which will be powering that piston. And then to create a little monostable circuit, we're going to place in a repeater and then some redstone running back into the comparator. And if you place any old item inside there, we should see that we are getting some redstone clock action happening. But we actually want to turn that thing off before all of the stone generates all the way across and basically pushes into that wall and breaks the system. Because now what we have to do is place a block right here, then a repeater, and then some redstone, and you want to set that repeater to 2 ticks. Now we're going to place in the block, and as you can see, this thing will fire into life, and the blocks will begin to be pushed upwards. Now as you can see, it's not the fastest stone generator in the world, it's a tiny bit on the slow side, but now we have generated all of the stone that is going right the way up to the top, so I would probably suggest placing in a block of obsidian right there. And let's just do a quick tester. We break the block, and it gets replaced. Fantastic. Alright, now it is time to turn this into a hidden entrance. Just like last time, I have cleared out a little bit of space out the back here to make way for all of the redstone. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself an observer from Minecraft 1.11 and I'm going to place that in right there. Now this is the block that we're probably going to be mining out. This is the one that we're going to be breaking. So you want to be detecting an update from that block right there. So if we break this block, you can see we get ourselves an output, but then we also get a second output because of course the block is regenerated and that causes an update through the observer. So to fix that, what I want to do is place a repeater set to 4 ticks, and then just to make sure, I'm actually going to place in a pulse extender out the back here. Just make sure that we don't get any double pulses, because a double pulse could break some of the systems that we're going to be building later on, and yeah, we really don't fancy that happening. So let's place in a couple blocks like this, some redstone, a repeater, and that's going to be running out into this sticky piston right here. And what I'm creating right now is known as a T flip-flop. So I've created the monostable circuit. This will generate a 1-tick pulse, and that 1-tick pulse is going to run out into this sticky piston right here that is facing across like that with a redstone block on its face. So now if we give everything a tester, you should see that when we break this block, we will get ourselves an output through the T flip-flop. This redstone block has been spat out, and then when we break the block once again, we get the same output, but the redstone block has been retracted. Next up, we're going to be creating a hidden crafting bench system. Now, most hidden crafting benches are really simple, but the one that we're going to be building today is going to be super fancy. So I'm going to place in a sticky piston down at the bottom with the stone block on its face. That's going to be covering up the hidden crafting bench system. And then we're going to have 3 blocks going across like that with sticky pistons. And then this is where our hidden crafting bench is actually going to be going. Just imagine that that is a crafting bench. But now I'm going to do the redstone wiring for our double piston extender, and that is really quite simple. Just redstone there, and then our repeater set to 4 ticks and a repeater set to 2 ticks. That's fantastic and all done. Now down at the bottom here, we're going to create another pulse extender just to make sure that the stone retracts before the double piston extender extends, but then once the double piston extender retracts, this thing has to wait a while before extending, otherwise it will break the whole system. I hope that made sense. So we're going to place in a comparator facing in this direction and a comparator facing in that direction with a redstone torch on the side of that block to cause that piston right there to extend. To connect up the pair of these things, we're just going to place a repeater. That's going to be running into the bottom one, and then we're going to run a repeater set to 4 ticks into this block right here, which is going to connect up all of that redstone. So there we go. We now have ourselves a fully operational system. That right there is a hidden crafting bench, even though we don't currently have a crafting bench. So we're going to run the redstone output from that one up into our T flip-flop, and it's actually going to be running into this block right here. So now when we break the block inside this area, you can see that we get a full double extension and we get the retraction of the stone block. And then when we break this block once again, you can see that we get the full retraction and then everything gets hidden away. This thing looks absolutely amazing. So let's cover up that redstone, cover up this redstone, and cover up this redstone, and you wouldn't even know that anything was there. So what comes next on the agenda? Well, as you can see, I've actually cleared out a little space out the back here, and I should probably light all of it up because you guys struggle to see this sort of thing. But we've got a bunch of room back here to make way for a hidden storage system. So the first thing that we have to do is we've got to create the entrance to this place. I'm going to place in a 2x2 area of stone right here, and then 2 sticky pistons with slime blocks on their faces. Now these slime blocks are going to stick to these stone blocks, and we're basically going to create a 2x2 flush piston door that drops down into the ground to reveal a whole bunch of chests. Now that might sound just a tiny bit complicated, but it turns out it's actually a really simple process due to the way the slime blocks actually work. So what we need to do is we need to place in a repeater set to 3 ticks, then some redstone running up like this with some blocks up like that, a repeater set to 1 tick, and that is going to be going into an immovable object. Now I'm going to be using obsidian for this one, but you can choose a furnace, a note block, whatever you really fancy. But anyway, we're going to run the redstone out from the double piston extender into the circuit for this one, but we're going to need a redstone torch right there, and that should just about do us. So currently our hidden crafting bench is extended and our storage is open, but when we break this block right here, you can see our hidden crafting bench gets hidden away and our storage also gets hidden away. Then if we break the block once again, we get our hidden crafting bench and also our storage system. It looks amazing. At the minute, it's looking a little bit dark in our cave right now. The only thing that's stopping it from being pitch black are these 2 blocks of glowstone up at the top here, which I just chucked in, which would sort of give away the fact that someone had already been there. So we can't have these things sitting around. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to create a block swapper lighting system. So all we have to do for this one is we need to place 2 pistons in 3 blocks apart. So we need a sticky piston facing in this direction. So there's 3 blocks between them. And then in the center, we're going to place a sticky piston facing upwards. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Then all we have to do is place a block down at the bottom, a block right there, a block up like this, and a block right there with repeaters set to 2 ticks heading in both directions. Redstone torch there with redstone dust on top. And then you want your glowstone, your block, and then the redstone torch with the redstone dust on the top, just like that. Then down at the bottom here, we're going to place in a block with a repeater set to 2 ticks, and that is the whole system all fully designed. So now we need to run a redstone output from this area into the back of this thing. For this one to work, we're going to need what's known as a dual-edge monostable circuit. Because this block swapper operates on pulses as opposed to solid inputs, so for example, if you ran a lever into this thing, nothing would happen. You have to give it a redstone pulse for it to switch round. We need to create a monostable circuit that fires on both ends of our T flip-flop, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So what we have to do is place an observer running out from that redstone right there. That's going to go out into a repeater set to 4 ticks with a block, redstone torch, and then we're going to run the redstone output from that one around into this block right here. So the block that's next to your piston. Then you want to place in a repeater and some redstone dust, and there we go. That is the entire system done. And if you're wondering why I have done it with the redstone torch, so all of it is powered, is because this actually activates on the falling edge, which means that that will actually make it work a little bit faster. So once again, let's do a full test of all of the systems inside our cave right here. We break the block and everything should fold away. So that's looking good. And then when we break the block once again, everything should just pop out. We get lighting, we get a crafting bench, and also our storage. Speaking of storage, we should probably actually place some chests on the inside of here. So I'm going to be placing 2 chests on either side just like this, and then a set of chests up at the top here. Just make sure that you don't place any chests where there are blocks above them, because then of course you won't be able to open them. Another thing that's probably worth noting is the fact that you can't place regular blocks next to any of these slime blocks, because then of course the slime blocks will pick them up and that could potentially break your system, so that's definitely something to watch out for. For the final little build of today's video, I thought we could probably do with a few furnaces inside our cave system. So we're going to place in 4 furnaces across the bottom right here, and I've cleared out a bunch of space out the back to make way for the sticky pistons, and then the stone on all of their faces. That's going to push those blocks out above the furnaces to hide them away, and then we can just pop around the back right here and place a line of redstone going across like that, with redstone on top there. And then up at the back here we're going to place a block with a redstone torch, and then another block with another redstone torch, and that's running out from the redstone that's running into our hidden storage system. So that's just going to go up like this and make its way across into that redstone, and that should be everything connected up, and those pistons should now be fully functional. So now for the final time, we're going to cover up all of our redstone. We need blocks going across like this, make sure that everything is covered. We can take out these 2 blocks right here, and I think that's everything covered up. So if we break this block, you can see everything hides away, and it all looks like a regular cave system. Let's just replace that block right there. So there we go, we've got a completely standard cave. We've got a tiny bit of light creeping through there, so let's just chuck in an extra block. But then if we break this block right here, everything should flip out, and we get ourselves an awesome crafting bench, lighting system, furnace array, and also a bunch of chests over here to store all of our items. I absolutely love this thing. I think it's fantastic. It seems to work absolutely wonderfully, and it completely hides itself away. It's like a totally hidden base. If anyone was to come past here, they would not know that all of that stuff was going on. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.